$13.7 million. That number just sits there. 13.7 million people who use the same institutions for their checking account, their savings account, their car loans, their investment portfolios. People who are non-crypto native, people who didn't download a wallet, who did not navigate a DEX, did not spend an afternoon learning about seed phrases. Everyday banking customers, full stop. And as of this week, their bank now supports XRP deposits. That's right. SoFi, a nationally chartered US bank, not a brokerage, not a crypto exchange, a bank regulated under the same federal framework as your traditional financial institutions, they have announced they are adding XRP to its supported deposit list amongst Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Let that sink in. Now, before we continue today's crypto update, if you've been holding your crypto for months, even years, what has it actually done for you? Because most holders I talk to, they're doing the same thing, just waiting, hoping, watching the market move. But smart money doesn't just sit, it works. Instead of letting your assets sit idle, you can put them into liquidity pools and generate yield while still holding long terms. No lockups, withdraw anytime, and the platform has been operating since 2018. But here's what's interesting about this. FortisX is now going through a regulatory review process with the SEC, and that's a big step. It's not something that most platforms even attempt. And it says a lot about where this is going long term. There's a major announcement coming soon around this, so definitely keep your eyes on it, because while most people are still waiting for someday, some holders are already putting their assets to work and compounding quietly in the background. If you're holding anyway your crypto, well, it should be doing something. And folks, I'll tell you something, it feels good to be back. You all know what happened. It didn't stop me though. We're back. The show must go on. So I need all you to do me a favor. Hit that like button, because we need as many likes as we can get back into that algorithm to push this content out. It takes 2 seconds and it's free, and I appreciate each and every single one of you. SoFi, they closed 2024 with $2.67 billion in revenue. Think about that. $498 million in net income, and their total assets that climbed from $36.25 billion all the way up to over $50 billion by the end of last year. That is nearly a 40% jump year over year in total assets. This is not some startup announcing a partnership for a press release. This is scaling financial institutions making a deliberate infrastructure decision. And that distinction right there, infrastructure decision versus your publicity move, is the lens through which this entire story has to be read. Now, before I go further, I want to be clear about what this channel is. This is market analysis and education. Nothing here is ever financial advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. And what I'm about to walk you through is research and commentary, not a directive. What you do, that's your call. And I always encourage you to do your own digging before making any decisions. The data here is real. The documents are real. The interpretation of them is mine and AI. Your conclusion should be yours. Now, there is a secondary story buried in this, and this one matters. It's right here. There is a constant misconception in the XRP community and outside of it, that for XRP to penetrate the Swift network, that Ripple and Swift would need to sit down at a table over a nice steak dinner and sign a piece of paper. That's not how this works. That's not how the plumbing actually works. The bridge between Swift's messaging layer here and RippleNet, it's already being constructed. Not by Ripple and Swift shaking hands, but by the enterprise middleware providers that financial institutions already use. We're talking about some big names out there, and you probably heard of them. SAP and Temenos. Now, these are the technology vendors that the banks rely on to interpret en route their financial messages. So when they sit down and they build API bridges that allow Swift's messaging, their MT type messaging, to flow into RippleNet, the two systems, they become interoperable without a formal Ripple Swift partnership ever being announced. Swift handles the messages. XRP, it handles the settlement. These are distinct layers that are operating in parallel, all connected by third-party infrastructure that already exist inside the banks themselves. The architectural detail, it changes how you read every XRP adjacent headline that follows. Now, let's not forget here, because we went over to AI to break down this statement and break down what it actually means so you get a real understanding. I want you to remember this. Swift connects more than 11,500 financial institutions, and it facilitates over $5 trillion in daily demand. But here is something that often gets just glossed over. Swift does not actually move money. It moves instructions. It is a secure messaging protocol, an extraordinarily sophisticated one, make no doubt about it. But the actual settlement of funds, it still depends on pre-funded Nostro and Vostro accounts held across your correspondent banking networks in dozens of jurisdictions. Money sits idle in those accounts, earning absolutely nothing, just waiting to be needed. The inefficiency here is structural. It is built into how the system was designed decades ago. I mean, we're talking like 4 or 5 decades ago. Now, Ripple's argument, which has been consistent across years and leadership statements, it's that XRP can't function as a bridge currency. That eliminates the need of those pre-funded accounts. So instead of a bank in Japan needing a pre-position in US dollars, XRP can serve as that liquidity layer. It can serve as that conversion, right? Converting your local currency to XRP, transmitting across the ledger in seconds, and then converting to wherever that destination may be and that currency on the other side. The pre-funded account then becomes optional. That float that was sitting idle, it gets freed. And make no mistake about it here, Ripple's senior vice president of strategic initiatives, he has stated that the company's, I'm gonna let you listen to the clip. I don't want to do a little spoiler alert, but he has stated the end goal for Ripple. Listen.
It really was about trying to form a better messaging system, sort of something that updated the Swift approach and leveraging cryptography and blockchain technology to make that real time, to sort of address some of the challenges that are inherent with a system that's been around for 40 or 50 years. That didn't involve cryptocurrencies. That didn't involve really solving the liquidity challenge associated with cross-border payments. But over time, as our customer base got more comfortable with the technology and saw the opportunity and saw that we were able to abstract the complexity away and really just deliver the benefit they were seeking, we then sort of went to this next step, which was addressing liquidity by leveraging a digital asset. In our case, we used one called XRP as a bridge currency between really a fiat transaction. So from the end user's perspective, they didn't really understand or need to understand that crypto was involved. All they saw was faster, it was cheaper, it was more reliable, it was available 24/7. So all big improvements on what was happening before. And so we're continuing to move down that continuum, if you will, and we're taking more and more of the complexity on our backs, getting even into the flow of funds as opposed to just providing a technology. So we're licensed now in many states in the US. We have a BIT license in New York. We've applied for licenses throughout the world. We have our major payments institution license recently granted by the MAS in Singapore. So over time, we really want to be that go-to place where you can move money quickly whenever you want, however you want, and then start to layer on these other building blocks.
So it's very clear what he's saying here. Updating the Swift approach, not replacing Swift as a messaging network, but updating the settlement layer underneath it, removing the complexity of all these correspondent banking relationships, introducing XRP as that bridge currency that provides liquidity at the point of need, rather they're requiring it to be staged in advance across dozens of accounts in dozens of different countries. That framing matters because it tells you exactly how Ripple sees it, its position in global finance, not as a competitor trying to topple an incumbent, but as an upgrade layer that institutions can adopt without their existing infrastructure, which is precisely why what Ripple is pursuing at the Federal Reserve level deserves serious attention. And yes, Ripple is pursuing what is called a full master account with the Fed. A Fed master account is not just this symbolic designation. It grants the holders of it direct access to FedWire. The gross settlement system, that it does the trillions of dollars in inter-bank transfers daily into the Fed now, the Fed's real-time payment rails that launched about 3 years ago, I believe. If Ripple were to obtain this account, it would not need to route through a partner bank to access those rails. It would sit directly on them. And critically, this would allow Ripple to hold its stablecoin, RLUSD, directly at the Fed rather than, through BNY Mellon or their intermediaries out there. An entity that can hold reserves at the Fed, that can access FedWire for gross settlement and plug into FedNow for real-time payments while also operating a bridge currency across an international ledger, they're not operating on the same level of the financial system. It is threading itself into the core of it. Now, that application hasn't been proved yet, right? To be precise about what is confirmed versus what is in motion, Ripple's pursuing the account. The outcome is not determined, but the pursuit itself reflects a strategic intent that is worth understanding because it reframes what a company like Ripple is actually building towards. Think about that, folks. I want you to really sit back, take this all in, and think about what is being built and the names that you keep seeing brought up and all the names you keep seeing mentioned, because there are only a handful of companies out there that are doing what Ripple is doing, that are building on top of a ledger and utilizing that ledger's actual currency. That matters. And that currency, as you know it, it's XRP. Look, screenshot this moment, okay? The date's on your screen. Come back to this video. 12 months, 18 months, and I want you to measure it of what actually has happened against all this data that I'm pushing out today. Not to validate any prediction, because there are none here to validate, but to train yourself to read the institutional signals the way the researchers do, so that next time a data cluster like this forms, you already know how to evaluate it. That skill compounds. Whatever happens with XRP, that skill, it is yours to keep. As always, hit that like and subscribe. This is my road to 100,000. Let's do this thing. I'll see all y'all